So most people like the idea of getting rich, which is why so many people buy into these get-rich-quick schemes. While having more money can ease financial stress and give some level of freedom, it can also come with a lot of potential downfalls when it comes to you very quickly. Every person and situation is different, but there are some common problems associated with getting too rich too quickly. One of the first potential problems that comes up when people get too rich too quickly in a short amount of time is that it can change them pretty significantly. When you make money quickly, you don't have much time to settle into a new lifestyle. You're thrown into it. It can go to your head and you can start indulging in lavish habits and developing an expensive taste. Now this isn't a bad thing in and of itself, but if your attitude changes with your lifestyle, you might start to behave in a way that comes off as snobby or pretentious to the people around you. And that's significant. Among the challenges that a sudden increase in money brings, the strain in relationships is said to be one of the hardest. Your changed persona can contribute to this, but even without any change in you, the new financial situation can make you feel isolated from friends and family. Being able to afford a different kind of lifestyle often leaves your loved ones behind because they don't have the money to take part in the same activities. You might think that including them in your new adventures can sidestep the problem, but that you don't want them to feel awkward about the cost that you're covering for them. Or the problem might be as simple as them seeing you differently and then acting differently around you. Marcus Persson, the founder of Mojang, the company behind Minecraft, sold his business for $2.5 billion. He later tweeted, "Hanging out in Ibiza with a bunch of friends and partying with famous people, able to do whatever I want, and I've never felt more isolated." See, even with his friends and surrounded by a whole bunch of people, the sense of isolation persisted. Gaining wealth quickly is likely to wreak havoc on relationships, whereas becoming wealthy over a long period of time allows you and those around you to adjust to the change more smoothly. Envy is another issue that can get in the way of your relationships. Money is something that most people want more of, even if they already have enough that they can afford everything that they want. When you suddenly have a lot and they don't, your friends and family can become jealous of what you have and even bitter about the fact that you have it. Their feelings will start to form a rift between them and you, because it's based on their own feelings and not something that you did to them. And because that it's based on their own feelings and not something that you did to them, there's little that you can do to resolve the problem. It's something that they have to work through, and you can only hope that eventually they'll be able to accept the fact that you have become wealthy and move past it. It's another instance where a slow increase is better since it gives everyone a chance to adjust, to change over time. You aren't responsible for how other people feel, but you are affected by when they don't react well to your newfound wealth. Some people might even start to have rumors about how you gained the money. A lot of people like to spread rumors about you doing it in the wrong manner. You won't only notice a change in your relationships because of how other people feel about you though. You'll feel differently about some of the people around you, too. Now we've established that money changes people, and it can change your friends and family. You might find that some of the people you care about start to ask you for favors, investments, or loans. This can cause you to feel uncertain about your relationships, especially new ones. Do they like you for you, or do they just want you for your money? Experiencing this kind of behavior in just one friend can spark paranoia about all your other relationships too. When you accumulate money over time, it doesn't seem as dramatic as an increase in wealth, and people are less likely to see your financial gains as an opportunity for themselves. When it comes all at once, they see you as having enough of an abundance that you could spare some. And some people might even be bold enough to ask you to share. Your relationships with people aren't the only ones that can go through changes. How you relate to money and your belongings will change too. Starting with a modest income and accumulating wealth gradually creates a scenario where you recognize its value clearly, because your money has to be managed wisely for it to grow. Coming into a lot of money in a short amount of time, like winning the lottery or one of your parents passing away. You can feel like you have plenty to spend and you're more likely to splurge. You feel that you can buy expensive things whenever you want, and the value of those things is diminished because you haven't had to wait or save up for them. You can easily get what you want whenever you want it. You become less appreciative of the things that you have, or that car that you dreamed of, or that house that you've always wanted to get. It doesn't feel as exciting or significant as it would if you had to wait and save up to get them. When the things that you've always dreamed of become easy to attain, it's common to feel that you've lost a sense of purpose. In the past, if you've set a goal that required money to pay for, whether that was to take a trip, start a new hobby, or some other major purchase, it became motivation for you to work towards it. Even if you were steadily becoming richer, maybe $1 a day, $5 a day, $100 a day, you had to save and you had to wait until you were in a place where you could spend the money on what you wanted and still have money in the bank. If you suddenly become rich, you can buy whatever you want as soon as you want it. You might find things with fewer things that you have to spend time working towards. Have you ever played The Sims and used a cheat code to start the game with a ton of simoleons? Well, you probably jumped right into building a huge house and all the most expensive items. Then you played for a little while and you got bored because you already had everything. Also with our Minecraft reference, it'd be like playing survival for 10 hours and then you jump to creative and it's just not as fun. Getting too much wealth in a short amount of time is a lot like this. You can't set goals that aren't dependent on money, but most material desires that acted as motivation in your past disappear because you can fulfill them right away. It can make you feel like there's a lack of purpose in your life, like there's little left to work toward. With all of this considered, it's understandable that there can be many mental health ramifications with getting rich too quickly. You can lose balance and fall into depression, feel guilt for having more than others when they need it or are in poverty, or develop anxiety over not knowing who to trust or how to hold on to your money. Any significant change in a short period of time can throw off any individual into mental instability, and that includes becoming rich, even if it initially seems like a great thing. Thankfully, if these things happen, they don't have to last. The effects of becoming rich quickly have been carefully examined by psychologists and one expert, Dr. Stephen Goldberg. He coined the term sudden wealth syndrome to describe the phrase that people typically experience. The first is the honeymoon phase, where the individual feels powerful and is prone to spending sprees. The second is wealth acceptance, where they still feel powerful, but they also realize that they're vulnerable and need to set limits. It's in these two phases where a lot of the relationship chaos and personal imbalances are felt. But then they move on to the third phase, identity consolidation. The individual realizes that being rich isn't what defines them, and they start to think about who they are and who they want to be and what they want to do in life. In the final stage, stewardship, they've settled into their wealth in a mature way and start planning on what they want to do with their money, how they can help others. As they move through the latter phases and they become comfortable with their finances, their relationships have a chance to stabilize and they feel more comfortable with the idea of having money. They learn to be responsible and live a life that isn't entirely defined by the money they gain. That's very important. When you are gaining money, you also gain the emotional and strategic intelligence to manage the money. So not everything is what it seems. Typically when we think of someone suddenly getting rich, it's something exciting, freeing, and ultimately a really good thing. And it can be. It definitely has its perks, but becoming wealthy too quickly can really create chaos in your life, leaving you with fewer friends and an emotional turmoil. Not to mention less money than you started with. Just ask any one of the 70% of lottery winners who've gone broke. It's better to grow your wealth over time, to start small and accumulate your riches at a steady pace, because this gives you more time to adjust and having the money and really understanding how money works, how currency flows, and the chance to really appreciate what you have and what you're working for. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want more videos like this, subscribe. Thanks for watching.